Welcome to Maranatha Fellowship, where we're building lives that make a difference. It's time for marriage maintenance. Me and my wife are in the house. So I'm trying to do it through Facebook and through Zoom. But it's gonna be good. It's gonna be good. Say hello to everybody on Facebook, honey.
Hi,
Yeah,
everybody. On Zoom.
We got some Zoomers too. Zoom, can y'all see my wife? I need to bring it in close so y'all can see her.
Oh, that's why you had me so close, and I moved the chair.
Yeah, you did.
Okay.
You did. So we're going to give it a couple of minutes, give people an opportunity to jump in before we get started. Just saying hey to everybody. There's Gwen Davis, and they're the Roddies in Florida.
Yeah.
What's good? If y'all are getting on Facebook, make sure you comment so we can see who's here and like and share. I see Elder Hill.
LaQuanda. Hey, LaQuanda.
Rashik is in the house.
And Annette Johnson in Virginia.
Miss Bougie. That's the Littles in Virginia. So we got a Virginia contingency here too. We're going to have a good time. How y'all doing out there in Facebook land? Like and share. Get some people to jump on in here. Tell them they can be married, wanting to be married, acting like they married, don't want to be married, whatever it is. If they have a relationship, they can jump on.
It's Casey. We have Casey Nevels and Denise Fowler and who else is
See, you
on
got
here?
that's your group.
Chandria Richardson,
All right,
Loretta.
All right.
Yep. Tika. So, yes, it's a great mix.
That's your whispering wives.
Yeah. Hey, Whisper. Hello, Whisper.
But men, we got something coming for you.
Uh-oh.
We got something coming for the brothers. I got you. I ain't gonna let these women just have their groups and us not be able to commune also. So it's coming.
We got Angel Benning and Chris and Pat Brown in the house.
Y'all was
Bria.
scared to come out because y'all thought it was gonna snow.
Yes.
That's what that is.
Yes, correct. Bria and Jaynard. What's up, Bria and Jaynard Young?
I
Hey,
might want Bria and
Chandria.
Jaynard on the Maranatha site.
This is all together.
How come I can't see the comments then?
Because you have that phone.
Are you on the Maranatha site or are you on the Whispering Wives
I
site?
don't know. I think I'm on the I'm on the Maranatha site. There it is right there.
You sure?
Yes.
I don't see nair
'Cause
comment.
you know- let me see. I think you're not.
Damn, what? I might have to go out and come back in.
We messed up. Yep. Somebody says switch over to iPhone, Pastor. Yes, Charnay.
No.
Hey, Lisa Dudley and Jamita Harrison.
Can I say again to iPhone? No. N-O.
Now, I will have to tell y'all a secret, but y'all can't tell Pastor I said it. His camera is like a million
I
times
can shoot
better.
a movie.
It's like, it's unreal.
They got that silly iPhone commercial about talking about they did a movie with the iPhone. This is a movie camera.
Oh, Lord Jesus. Y'all pray for him. iPhone, yes, LaQuanda. Hey, Shauna Richards. How y'all doing? There's Pastor Johnson.
God bless you, Reverend.
And Sadia.
Oh, hey. Saida, you
Saida. See, I got my glasses on and I
Glasses,
still can't see. Hey, Saida. I'm sorry.
well, I just don't know what the problem is. Let me go all the way out and I'll come back in.
It's
I
the
wanna-
phone.
I want to see y'all's comments too.
It's the phone. It's the phone, y'all.
It's probably some silly iPhone regulation that's going across different bands. Who knows?
Hey, Lady Tanya Anderson. See there? See, I can see all the people. Because I have a real phone.
Your phone is not better than my phone.
It is. See, you got the hearts and everything. I have no idea.
It said comments will appear here. I ain't got nair comment.
You ain't got.
I ain't got nair one.
I don't
So I'm gonna have to
have.
rely on you for comments then.
So Annette said, Annette said, we have already told you what the problem is. Yes. So you are now, turn the mic off on the computer.
Oh, yes, dear.
Thank you.
Everybody on Zoom, can y'all hear us? I muted myself. I guess you can't. Okay, can you hear me now?
You just,
Awesome.
You need to mute them.
Yeah, I will.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes. Lisa, it is the phone, Lisa. It is the phone.
Look, y'all gonna stop this phone foolishness, and I'm not gonna hear all that because I know I have a better phone.
You see my comment?
Yep, I do.
Okay. So, all right. Oh, Lord.
Hate being wrong, but it is what it is. All right, so it's 7:05, so we're gonna go ahead and get started this evening. Great to have everybody on with us for marriage maintenance. This is our opportunity to do preventive maintenance on our relationships because we contend that it is better to do preventive maintenance than to do major repairs. So thank you to everybody for taking a little time out with us on this evening. My name is Chip Rice. I am the pastor of Maranatha Fellowship in High Point, North Carolina, on the great campus of Communion Point. And this is my incredible wife, Thursday Rice, my wife of 22 years.
Woo, woo, woo.
Man, how do we do that?
With the grace of God. Yes. God's grace.
We worked at it. And so we're passionate about marriages and relationships because I just contend that if you're going to be with somebody, you might as well enjoy being with them instead of having a miserable relationship. We also are real people. We know that relationships go through different struggles, through seasons of tough times.
Yes.
Whether they be external or internal. And so we just want to figure out how that we can honor our commitments to God and to each other and then help people to have great relationships. I don't want to have a good marriage. I want to have a great one.
Right.
So you can tell us whether or not we have a great marriage because we can't be putting on fronts for the people and making them think.
No, we have a great marriage. I like you.
Praise
Which is, probably more important than loving you, I think. Makes marriage a lot easier.
It does. It does.
Yes.
Liking your spouse. So we're gonna go ahead and get started because we know that some of y'all are ready for this snowstorm that's coming. So you got to go out and you probably already ran out and bought all the bread and the milk and the eggs and everything. So like it's really gonna snow that bad, but we don't know. Whatever. We want to talk about tonight getting to the root of the matter.
Whoop, whoop.
Getting to the root of the matter. I was out, I guess, early in the month and just kind of riding around and had been talking about some things, and there were some things on the surface, but the problem wasn't what was on the surface. The problem was beneath the surface.
Correct.
And so I think that it behooves all of us to kind of take a deeper look. See, look at it.
No,
My
that
comments are up
that was my anointed touch. I
Shondo.
did that. Yes. Hallelujah.
All the Kojic people quicken now. Shondo. But I think that sometimes we try to deal with what's on the surface instead of dealing with what's beneath the surface or what the real irritant is as far as relationships are concerned. So we're going to start looking at some things for the people that are on Zoom. We have a PowerPoint for you, and those who are on Facebook, our AV team is here tonight, and they're going to help us by putting some things up. So I'm going to share my screen on Zoom, and TJ, are we ready for the audio on Facebook? I mean, the video on Facebook.
PowerPoint.
Okay. All right, so let's go ahead and get started then. All right, so we're going to talk about getting to the root of the matter. All right, couples, we got a survey that we want you to do. There are 5 questions that we want you to answer, and I want you to answer them separately. And do not share your answers with each other. The 5 questions are on the screen for the Zoom, and they should be coming on the screens for Facebook and YouTube and the website. The questions are, number 1, how peaceful is your relationship? On a scale of 1 to 10, how peaceful is your relationship? Scale of 1 to 10. Everybody has a phone, so everybody has a little notepad on their phone, so you can just answer it on there.
Yeah, you don't want them to necessarily put it in the comments, right?
No.
Okay, all right, just be clear. Okay.
Don't put your spouse on blast in the comments.
I'm just saying.
Don't blow them up. Question number 1, how peaceful is your relationship on a scale of 1 to 10? Number 2, on a scale of 1 to 10, how happy are you with yourself? How happy are you with yourself? On a scale of 1 to 10. Question number 3, how happy are you with your spouse? How happy are you with your spouse on a scale of 1 to 10? Now, for all the deep folk, we know that happiness is monitored by yourself. You're responsible for that.
It's your choice.
Yeah. We know all that, but we're using that as a term to try to simplify what's going on as far as our relationships are concerned. So the third question is, how happy are you with your spouse? Question number 4, on a scale of 1 to 10, how comfortable are you talking to your spouse about your issues? How comfortable are you talking to your spouse about your issues? So whatever's going on that you know is an issue with you, on a scale of 1 to 10, how comfortable do you feel presenting that to your spouse? All right, and then the last question, the final question is, on a scale of 1 to 10, how comfortable are you talking to your spouse about their issues?
Most of us are real comfortable.
Yeah, we're real comfortable talking about what's wrong with you.
That part, we're real comfortable with that part.
It's going to be a lot of 8, 9s, and 10s on that one. All right, so now I want you to hold on to your answers. Do not share them with your spouses. Hold on to your answers. All right, so how peaceful is our relationship? Scale 1 to 10.
A 9.
I think 9.
9, 10.
Yeah.
We have moments where I have to walk away, and you do too. So I mean, I think we work hard at preserving the peace.
Right.
So therefore,
So I think that peace is like 9, 10 for us, because what we do is, instead of going into a full war mode,
right,
you walk away.
Walk away and then come back when your energy is
a little different.
Different. Yep.
Right. Number 2, how happy are you with yourself? For me, with myself, I'd probably say about a 7, because I see some areas of my own life that I want to work on as far as getting better. So I would say I'm probably about a 7.
I'm self-critical, so I don't know.
You are extremely
very self-critical,
hard on yourself.
so I don't even know if I can answer that on.
No, everybody else answered it. You got to answer.
I don't see their answers.
Right.
I don't have to tell them my answer. That's on my paper.
She's not being a good host. She's not going to give us that information.
I'll have to think about that.
Okay. 3, how happy are you with your spouse? I would say 10.
Oh.
I would say 10. I'm happy with my spouse. I think we've just got to, that prayer you prayed as far as our relationship is concerned.
Yes, it manifested for sure.
It did. So,
yes.
So my wife prayed a prayer before we got married and said that God, whatever it is that is wrong with relationships or cause them to, break up and everything else, let me go through that.
In my dating relationship versus in my marriage. And so I think our dating relationship on a scale of 1 to 10 was a -5.
Hell.
Yeah.
In hell, we lifted up our eyes.
Right. And so I would say, in terms of how comfortable, or what is it? How happy am I with you? Well, a 10, 12, somewhere around there. I like you every day. You're awesome.
Thank you, honey. I
Yes.
appreciate it.
That's my boo, y'all.
All right. So, fourthly, how comfortable are you with taking your
Talking.
spouse? How talking to your spouse about your issues? So, me talking to you about my issues. And I have to take responsibility for it because I think that I am probably about a six in talking about my issues.
Yes, because you can get a little. If I say something that's your issue, I get a little wall sometimes.
Because it takes it. I have to acknowledge it, and then I have to do all the stuff in my mind that tries to say that what you're saying is invalid or it's
Justification.
not right. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
I got to deal with all that, and then I have to say, okay, now what needs to change here? So it's a process. So I think the initial conversation is what is probably most difficult.
Right, but I will say this. So the next question says, how comfortable are you talking to your spouse about their issues? So I'm going to say I'm probably 9 with talking to you about your issues. I do take the time when I feel like there's something that needs to be addressed and think about, pray about, and wait for the right time and opportunity, which I think makes that easier. But you don't make it hard for me to come to you with your issues or mine, really. So I have to say that I don't worry about if I come to you with a challenge for you or for me that I'm not going to be received well. Sometimes I'll tell you something and you give me that look, and then you'll come back a day or two and say, okay, I heard what you said. But it's not like there's no fight. You know what I'm saying?
But I think it's that way because you don't press me to try to make this sweeping change in the moment. And most times with men, we want to fix whatever it is right then. And I have to come to the conclusion that whatever the change is, it may not be something that I could do right in that moment, but I need to kind of work on and get better at.
Right.
So, but I don't feel intimidated as if, you're going to come back to me. If you didn't do it, then I'm going to get cussed out.
Okay.
It's like, okay, you didn't do it, so therefore I'm getting ready to go all the way in, which is crazy. All right. So what we're finding out is a lot of us are dealing with this word called insecurity. To be insecure. It is one of the root problems of most relationships. Mm-hmm. It is the fact that I'm insecure. And so we gave a definition of insecurity as subject to fears or doubts, not self-confident, not certain, uneasy, or anxious, exposed or liable to risk, loss, or danger, not firmly or reliably placed or fastened. So that's the traditional definition for what it means to be insecure. So we said that when we are insecure, we overcompensate in other areas to bring about security. As I was kind of digging into this, I was like, look at how many ways that we show our insecurity, and we're gonna talk about that in a minute. But I wanted to give you some biblical examples of insecurity so that you won't feel like it's just that this is foreign to everybody.
Well, this is insecurity is a new issue.
Oh no, insecurity has been going on.
It's not a new issue.
It's been going on since the garden.
Yeah.
I mean, things. So you have Jacob, who was insecure about his position in the family, so he manipulated his brother.
Right.
He talked his brother out of giving him a birthright. Peninnah was insecure about her relationship with her husband, so she made someone else's life miserable. She made Hannah's life miserable.
Right.
Just because of the relationship that Hannah had with her husband. Abraham was insecure about his life, so he lied about his marriage. He went over into Egypt and he lied to those people and said, "No, tell them you my sister."
Right.
Because he was more scared of him dying than he was protecting her honor. Judas was insecure about his relationship with Jesus, so he started focusing on making money.
Right. Because he was concerned that he was too low down on the totem pole to be blessed.
He didn't see
Right.
how I was going to,
Right.
how I was going to benefit from what's going on. So
Right.
now I got to go ahead and get mine.
Right.
Wow. And then you have Ananias and Sapphira, who were insecure about public perception. So they put on the front to make it seem like they were great people. They try to make everybody believe they gave this great offering in church so they could be honored like everybody else, but they were actually living a lie.
Yes.
And so insecurities cause us to present something to people that's not true, or to do things that compensate for the areas that we lack in.
And the thing about insecurities is that ultimately, if you look at each one of those examples, there was a consequence or a cost for them operating in their insecurities or allowing their insecurities to make their decisions versus following God.
Right.
Right.
And maybe some of the insecurities that we have in our lives right now are costing things in our relationships.
Mm-hmm.
It's costing our relationships, and we don't have great relationships when we could, because we haven't really dealt with our own
Insecurities. Yeah. Or if somebody brings them to our attention, which goes back to part one,
Right.
we struggle with hearing that, okay, this is a challenge, and it may be because you feel insecure in this area, but hey, honey, you don't have to. Yeah.
All right. When I was looking at this, I looked at the word and it dawned on me that the key to insecurity is in. Insecurity is not managed by the external.
Wow.
It's managed by the internal. The key to insecurity is in. It's not, when you're insecure, it's not my insecurity. It's yours. Yet you want me to fix it. Woo. Wow. So now, couples, everybody playing nice this evening, y'all. A lot of times we are insecure. We're insecure, and we're making our spouse compensate for it.
Or
We're
responsible. We want them to be responsible
it's
for it.
their fault.
Y'all, Vet and Rashid just walked in because Vet said she wasn't going to keep watching at the house. She made Rashid drive her all the way over here in the cold. Thank you, Rashid.
You the man.
Yeah.
You the man. You the man. So think about this, y'all. Look, think about the pressure that you're putting on your spouse because of your own issue. And yet, you will justify it to make it look like it's something that you're supposed to have. So you have an insecurity about value, and you go out and buy expensive stuff
That you can't afford.
Right.
Yeah.
And then your spouse says to you, hey, we probably shouldn't have got that. Well, you only live once. Yeah, but I'd like to keep living.
Right. I want to live
This
next
one time,
week.
yeah, this
Right,
one
yeah.
time I wanna go ahead and keep going. But you see how the responsibility was transferred to the other person when it's actually your insecurity that I'm dealing with.
That's good.
And a lot of the arguments that couples have is because somebody hasn't dealt with their own insecurity.
And the insecurity normally has a root in something.
Yes.
So it comes from somewhere. So if you feel undervalued, if you felt undervalued as a child in your family, maybe you have this thing where you have to always have the nicest car or the nicest thing to make people feel like you're valuable. Or let's say, for instance, you had a situation where you felt abandoned as a child. So what that means is how that can manifest itself is every time your spouse leaves the house, well, where are you going? And call me, and you calling every 15 minutes, or so those insecurities normally have a root somewhere, and until we find that root, we're not going to truly understand our insecurity. But we take that insecurity and give it to the other person and want them to be responsible for managing it, not taking responsibility for it ourselves.
Absolutely.
Yep.
We have televisions in several rooms in our house, and one of the reasons we have several televisions is because growing up there were 3 of us in the house. Well, it actually ended, but it was mainly 3 of us, and then Angel came and made it the 4th. But by the time she came, I think I had gotten my own television. But I had to share the television with my 2 sisters, and there were times that I wanted to watch a program that they didn't want to watch, and so because since that became now something in my psyche, in the back of my mind, that now if I'm not careful, I'll overcompensate within the life that I live now.
Thus the big screen TV in Ethan's room.
But it's in Ethan's room.
Right.
Because I want him to have a nice. It's not that big.
No.
It is not that. Ethan, how big is your television?
It's
big, not that big. It's like 42, 48, somewhere around there. It's not big. But anyway, but it's an area that I have to be careful of certain things that you missed out in your earlier years that you're trying to overcompensate in now. So now it's you got to have the bigger car. You got to have all the clothes. You got to have certain things a certain way. Some of y'all have arguments about the way that the dishes are in the cabinets or under the sink because of the way you grew up. Yep. What in the world?
Right.
Why? How does that become a point of contention in a relationship where all you have to do is somebody just move the dishes?
So I think too. I think with insecurity. Right. So with insecurity, we have to look in ourselves, and then if there's a behavior, because it can appear completely normal to you, right?
Right.
So
Okay.
there are people who are, I'm gonna say OCD, right? Obsessive compulsive
disorder.
about things being perfectly neat. Everything has to be in the place. If not, they lose their mind, right? Angel Rice. And so if
Be talking about my people now.
But that comes from, I'm talking about her because she on the screen. I'm just picking. But it comes from her saying when we couldn't go to bed at night without the dishes being washed. Now that's a situation where it's not necessarily bad. So I'm not. But where it can turn bad is when you let it disrupt the peace in the house if something is outside of the norm.
Right.
So it can turn bad when we ran out of the house for an emergency and the dishes are in the sink and I can't go to sleep, and then everybody got to stay up and either hear me fuss or listen to me wash the dishes. It can't. So the insecurity that was created back based on the behavior from your past, and is now manifesting itself in a way that's disruptive to those around you, but you want them to conform to your way.
Right.
And so in that situation, you have to be able to look at it and say, okay, I'm not going to die if I just get up in the morning and wash the dishes.
Or maybe you feel like you are.
Right,
Maybe
but that's
you feel
the
like
insecurity.
that
because you scared somebody is going to walk in your house and see the dishes in the sink, and they're going to
be embarrassed.
Yeah, well.
But see how? But that's important to the one person.
Yes, it is.
The point is that is your insecurity.
Right.
And now you can state what it is, but you shouldn't force it on the other
Correct.
person.
So if it's a problem for me, then I should not have an expectation of someone else. So I can't expect you to get up and wash the dishes
Right.
if the dishes are an issue for me.
Right.
I then need to go wash the dishes.
Right.
But I also have to remember that.
But you're going to be mad at me because I got some of the dishes.
Because you went to sleep while I was washing them. That's really why I got mad. Yeah, that part.
Yeah. It's like, oh.
You went to sleep and left me up washing the dishes.
And then you start hearing noises in the background, clang, clang.
Right. Slamming drawers
stuff down and
throwing
going on,
pot. Right.
Wait
and so
a minute.
That's the insecurity that I'm talking about. It's not that you want the dishes washed. It's when you allow that insecurity to affect other people because you want them to fix what you deem as a problem.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
It's the pet it thing. Vet says she's struggling over there, y'all.
So the relationship's growth is now stifled.
Yes.
Because we got a weed problem. And it's not that you can't grow. It's that the relationship is stifled because we haven't figured out how to deal with this weed.
Don't smoke it. Deal with it. Don't smoke the weed. Deal with it.
All right, so let's give you a little information on what a weed is. Weeds are defined as plants that grow in a place where they are not wanted. Usually, weeds that grow in lawns and gardens are undesirable and are removed. Weeds are plants that are undesired because they, 1, compete with the desired plants for the resources. This is a preach right here. 2, serve as hosts for plant pathogens.
Cooties. Plant cooties.
Okay, plant cooties. 3, provide food and shelter for animal pests. Meaning they
ticks.
Yeah, they help things that are not supposed to be there.
Right.
And then 4thly, they irritate the skin or digestive tracts.
Mute Tiffany.
Who is
Tiffany?
That?
Tiffany Larry coming in with her mic on high.
Okay. Irritate the skin or digestive tracts of people or animals, meaning that the weeds can become an irritant. You're not killing me, but you're irritating me. Boy, it's some side eyes going on right now in some relationships right now. It ain't that I don't love you. It ain't that I don't want to be with you, but you are irritating the absolute snot out of me.
Irritants.
And you become an irritant. And now instead of enjoying our relationship, then we're letting these weeds cause problems as far as we're concerned. And we're doing our best to hold on to the commitment that we said we would have, but we still got these weeds we got to deal with.
Right, and we're letting the weeds take over the plants, meaning the good things that are here, the things that we want here. We're allowing those weeds to come in and mingle and tear up the roots and consume, bring in other pests. And so those weeds are wrapping themselves around the things that are good and making the good things not
so that
visible.
The focus goes off of what's good
to the weeds.
And now the focus is on the weeds.
Right.
How many times have y'all walked up to somebody's house or somebody's yard and one of the first things you notice are the dandelions or the buttercups that are coming up through the cracks in the concrete or in the lawn? Now, I think we have a lawn war going on in our neighborhood.
Those two people on the corner.
Yeah, because we got some people on the corners in our neighborhood where it's like, your lawn would never be as great as mine. They got lawn wars.
Beautiful lawns. Look like they out there cutting with little tweezers.
Meticulous. But then I've been places where, you look and, I'm not a big green thumb guy or anything else, but I look and be like, somebody could have sprayed some what's the stuff called? What's the spray for weed killers? Yeah. Scott, somebody. Put it in the chat, doggone it.
Weed be gone. Yeah.
Weed be gone is one
Plant
of those.
out of place. Yeah. One of those.
Plant out of place.
That's Rhonda.
So now, it's not that you can't exist. It's not that you can't continue to live.
Right, but the flowers are there, but we're focused on the weeds.
Right. It's not the best that it can be because
The weeds are in the way.
we're not dealing with what shouldn't be there. Wow.
Yeah, and so now, I think it's time for the next slide. What do we do?
All right, so I was Googling some information and I saw this. It said weeds most commonly retard crop growth by competing directly for resources including light, space, soil moisture, and or nutrients.
This is such a good comparison.
I
Because
said,
the bad
wow.
things in your relationship compete for light, space in the relationship, the things that bring nutrients to the relationship. So your sex life, your communication life, all of those weeds.
Being able to plan for our future, thinking about what we can do with the kids, it's all of that all of that has an edge to it.
Right.
Because of the
So
weeds.
we sit down and say, hey, let's write a will. Let's figure out how we're going to save for tomorrow. Well, why are you trying to tell me what to do with my money? What? Bruh, I'm just trying to get us to create.
Right.
Because somewhere back here, somebody didn't let you control your money.
Or somebody told you don't let them have all your
You had
money.
bad
and now you got a bad information and you're operating off of that.
Insecurity.
Insecurity.
So insecurity
How
is,
do you marry somebody that you haven't at least considered I could trust with my money?
well, they do that. People do that all the time. Huh?
Right. I'm just saying that's something that you need to resolve before you get married.
But if you don't know to ask the question, see, the assumption is that so if my parents didn't ask the question, or I come from a single family household where one person was making the decisions, then I don't know to ask the question. That's why forums like this are so important for single people, not just married people, so that you know to ask the question, hey, so let's sit down and talk about finances. How do you deal with money? I remember, and this is a little segue, but I remember when we first got married, I had lunch with Sister Lockett. And one of the questions she asked me was, how do y'all handle your finances? I was like, well, we sat down and we tried to have one account. That ain't work. I said, because I was swiping, he was swiping, and that was a hot mess. I said, so we have a bill pay account, and he has an account, and I have an account. Everybody's on everybody's account, but he uses one, I use one, and then we have one. I said, and it works for us. And she said, how do you spend money? And I said, well, what do you mean? She said, how do you decide what money is spent on? I said, oh, we have a $50 rule. You can't spend over $50 without talking to the other person. And so she said, does he ever come home with big screen TV? I was like, no, we're not doing that. And so what I realized was that our mindset about money was already kind of the same. So it was not as big of a struggle.
Okay.
But there are people who come together with completely different mindsets. So again, back to the plants. So then that money issue. So money, sex, communication, religion. Those are the things that can cause the biggest rifts in relationships. So when I come to you with a different money mindset and we haven't talked about it,
right?
Oh man, this can be a great weed. This can be
and
like
don't let it be a situation
wild.
where it's like you make more money than I make, and I should be able to do what I want to do with my money.
Can we do the next marriage maintenance on You Are Not My Roommate? I just want to do a marriage maintenance on You Are Not My Roommate.
Y'all let us know if that's a good topic. You are not my roommate.
I just want to.
If
y'all want to talk about that, get the singles in here and let's talk about how you are not my roommate.
Placing the difference on having a roommate and having a spouse.
Having a spouse. My spouse is not my roommate.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Okay.
All right. So light exposure to things beyond my personal ability that can help me be better. How are you being light to your spouse? How are you exposing them to things that will make them better? Space, the opportunity to expand while being comfortable with where we are. This is very
This
important
is so good.
because you want your spouse. I want my wife's endeavors to go worldwide. I want her to grow and be absolutely awesome. She is awesome to me, but I want her to be awesome to everybody else that she can be. But not at the expense of us.
Right.
Because I have to decide that if everything goes wrong, that we're still together.
Long as you and I are together.
Right. And so our space is never threatened by my insecurity.
Right. Or your success. Because
Or
I think
success,
I
yeah.
think sometimes space can be threatened by one person's success if the other person is competitive. You know, I'm not by nature competitive. So I don't care what you do, who you do with. You can ascend to the highest mountaintop. I'm going to be like, yes, go. I'm never going to look at you and be like, but what about me?
But there are some that have the insecurity of competition that
within the relationship.
Right.
It's okay to say, okay, we want to go here together and we're going to move forward. But what we don't do is compete with each other. Well, I'm going to make more money than you, or I'm going to have more rental properties than you do. It's not a competition.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And we see sometimes situations where one person will ascend and the other person makes sure that, okay, I'm going to be at least your equal. Where it's like, who cares?
Who cares?
If I'm fulfilling my purpose, then why do you feel the need to be? If I go, you coming with me?
Right. But there's the insecurity of shine. That's not on here. Maybe we'll make that light too. But so more people are calling your name and looking at you, and nobody knows that I'm attached to you or I'm associated with you or whatever. You know, you have to get on me sometimes because you'll say, I'm going here to preach. They say they've never seen you. And I'm like, oh.
Right. I have to get my wife to go someplace. I'm going to let y'all know I really do have a wife, and she'll come to church too.
Because it's not, for me, I'm not in competition with, so I married Harvey. See that? So I married Harvey. Out there, you are Chip. So Chip is cool. He's fun. I hang out with him, play cards. He's a nice guy. But I love Harvey. That's my dude. That's right. So what I realize is that most of us, when we step out of the door, we have a public persona. Mm-hmm. So I'm not intimidated by or worried about or concerned with or in competition with Chip. And so I think what we have to remember as spouses is you let your person run as far as they can go and you support them and you push them, but none of that means that you are they can't do what they do without you.
Right.
I can't do the stuff that I do without you.
Right. I can't do what I do without you. So,
right. And so I'm secure sitting back here going, go, yes. I told this girl one time at Evangel. She said, ever since you got married and had that baby, you stopped coming to Bible study. I was like, well, somebody got to wash his drawers so he can sing praise and worship for you. And I said it just like that because I was like, are you serious? So my point being,
pray for my wife.
There's stuff that needs to be done behind the scenes, and we have to be okay with being behind the scenes.
Right.
Yeah. Right.
Okay. And then the last point was nutrients, being willing to help in my areas of deficiency. If I acknowledge I need help, will you belittle me or will you build me up? And as a man, let me let y'all sisters know something right now. What you say to us is really, 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 really important, because words build or words destroy. And so most times men won't show their vulnerabilities to a great extent. Mm-hmm. They might give you a little bit, and if you do good with that, they'll give you a little bit more, and if you do good with that, they'll give you a little bit more. But if you ever belittle him, then what you've done is you made him shut that area off in his life from you, because he feels like he's less than the champion he's supposed to be to you.
Yes.
Now, you might not think it's important, but I'm telling you what God loves, which is the truth. And so you have to be careful about when somebody's coming to you and saying, I have a deficiency in this area,
Right.
that you don't make fun of them or treat them bad or tell them or make them feel like they're stupid. Say, okay, well, all right, look, come on. Let's talk about this, and then let's see how we can be better.
Right. And understand the wonderful thing about a marriage, because, I feel like there are areas that I'm deficient in that you are more than proficient in. So I don't feel the need to learn how to do that. So if you allow your spouse to be the support that they're supposed to be, like, I don't know how to fix the TV. When the TV goes black, you be like, the reset button is right here. I don't want to know what a reset button is. I just know how to say, Chip, the TV is black. Ethan, Mama's TV won't work. I don't need to know that. And so I think that if we would allow each other to be proficient in the areas that we are proficient in and celebrate, when you come downstairs and punch the little button or figure out whatever that is that's going on with it, what do I say? Thank you, honey.
Mm-hmm. All happy again.
Thank you. You fixed my TV. You are the man. So I think it's okay not to know how to do everything and not to criticize the other person if they're deficient in an area, as long as I'm sure I could figure out at this point how to fix the TV, right? So,
but I think it would do all of us good to,
yeah,
even in the things that we consider the norm of what our spouses do, is to just still give them a attaboy.
Oh, absolutely, celebrate their yes, definitely.
You come in and
like,
dinner
yes.
is made 4 days out of the week. But you come in on the 5th day and say, honey, thank you so much for making dinner.
That's right.
Just to build them up and to remind them that they are appreciated.
And to let them know that you see the areas that they are proficient in and that you may be deficient in. Right. So, like, I always thank you for taking care of me and being kind to me, because my mouth can be a little sharp, but you're never sharp. Shut up. You are never sharp with me. And I bring that to your attention, and I appreciate that. So, yep.
All right. So we have to deal with weeds from the top and from the bottom. What do we mean by that? From the top. The top are your emotions, your intellect, your declarations. If you're ever going to get the weeds out of your relationship, you got to get your emotions under control.
Ooh. What's that thing you say?
Cause y'all gonna take my saying. I'm getting T-shirts made. I'm trying to get prepared and everything else. But I got a saying that I ain't giving it to y'all because y'all are gonna take my stuff, and then I'm gonna have to call down fire from heaven on you. But you've got to get your emotions under control. Everybody has emotions. God has emotions. But you've got to get your emotions under control. Everything is not a 5-alarm fire. Everything is not a Category 5 hurricane. Everything is not a blizzard. But if you treat everything like that, you'll never know the difference between what should have been easy and what was really hard, because your emotions are so involved in it. My wife said something that I thought was probably one of the most ridiculous things I had heard coming from a wife. But then over time, as I considered it, I was like, okay. She said that, I'm going to have to make this real clear to everybody. I want y'all to look at me.
I'm scared now. I don't know what I said.
Real clear now. It is never right, and it will never be right to have had an extramarital affair as far as your relationship is concerned. No. But she said, she was talking and she said, men are different from women. And men sometimes do things that are stupid, but that's not where their heart is. And so why would I have made all of this investment in this relationship for you to make one stupid mistake, and then it costs all of us
all of this,
everything?
yeah.
And I was just like, that ain't nothing you tell a man now, because then he started.
Oh no, to understand. I might not throw you away, but you might wish I did. It ain't gonna be nice around the house. That's not right. But the point I'm making is I oftentimes tell people, you have to evaluate the whole situation.
Right,
You don't throw
right.
somebody away no matter what, because God don't throw us away.
And you have to make a careful analysis of it to see what kind of decision was this
Exactly.
that this person made.
Yeah.
It doesn't make it right, and there will be penance that needs to be done.
Yeah, you will be running
for
through
that.
the street naked. Yes, for sure. Yes, absolutely.
That was the problem. So you need to be. I need to be clothed and in my right mind. Come on now. but you have to look at situations, and sometimes you cannot make an emotional decision.
Yes.
You have to make a spiritual decision. You have to make a practical decision to figure out, what do I need to do?
Right.
Because a lot of times our emotions are keeping us from moving on in life, from fixing relationships,
and making the best decision in the moment.
Right.
Right. Let me see. What is it that I say? Your emotions should never dictate what you do. So how you feel should not be the impetus for your decision. Feel it, step away from it, make a decision based on all of the information, not just your feelings.
Yeah, let wisdom come in.
Because your feelings will jack you up.
Feelings are something else. But then you have to use your intellect. You have to think things through and say, okay, what is it that I need to be doing? How can I do it? Do I have the ability to do it? And then make a declaration. Say what you're going to do, and then keep your word.
Right.
So that's how you work at it from the top, because on a lot of weeds you can spray and you can tackle them from the top.
So it's behavioral. It's behavioral based. My emotions, my intellect, my declarations, what I say, how I feel, what I
from
think.
A cognitive standpoint,
right. That's from the top.
No,
right.
So now from the bottom, the way if you can dig roots up, and that is your commitment, your actions, and your consistency. What did I say I was going to do it? Now, have I committed to it? And I know I've committed to it by what it is that I do, my actions. But then you can't just do it for a week.
Come on now.
And then it's like, but I did it last week. No.
So this is my favorite. I did it for a whole week and nothing changed. Well, you've been doing it the jacked up way for 20 years, but you want to do it for 1 week.
Right. And then
you expect to change. Men. Yes. Okay.
Oh, anybody who knows who's worked out or gone to the gym, if there was a gym that you could go in for 1 week,
come on,
and come out 30 pounds less, they'd be billionaires.
Yes.
But there isn't.
Because they will have all.
Be billionaires. But you have to be consistent. You got to keep going and keep going. When you don't feel like it, you keep going. When they're getting on your nerves, you keep going. When things don't seem like they're changing, keep going, because consistency brings about change.
Yes.
So that's how you get the weeds out of the relationship. We wanted to make sure we gave you a solution of some things that you can do to start to work on those things as far as your relationship is concerned. It all comes down to having that conversation and being vulnerable.
Yes.
And letting that person share with you what it is that they feel. And whether you think it's valid or not, then let them say what they feel, and then start to begin to work through it and see how we can get these weeds out of our relationship.
And don't be so quick to respond when somebody shares with you, even if they're talking about you. Listen, think about it, pray about it, and then go back with a response. I think sometimes arguments come because we want to defend in the moment.
Yeah,
some things don't even require defend. Can I talk about our little disagreement at Christmas? You remember Christmas? I said something to you about driving.
Oh yeah. Yeah
okay,
yeah,
so
yeah,
I'm going to talk about how this right here blew my mind. So I took my own advice. So we were leaving the house, and Chip was driving, and the garage door was coming down. And so I'm going, honey, 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 honey. And he's looking at me with the look. Well, there's a car coming behind us, and then so the car is beeping and making noise. I'm thinking that it's the garage door. He can see that it's the car behind us. So he didn't say anything, but the energy shifted in the car. So you got to know your spouse, y'all. So the energy shifts in the car. So we get maybe about an hour down the road on a 2-hour drive. And I said, okay, I'm sorry. Not sure what I did wrong, but let me apologize, because whatever I did to offend you, it wasn't intentional. But when you're ready, you can tell me what it was. So he sat there for a second. He said, you make me feel like I'm going to put you and Ethan in danger, and I would never do that. And he, told me, he said, it undermines my authority as a man when you criticize my driving like that. I would never do anything. And I'm thinking to myself, huh? So I'm listening, and I was about to say something, and the Holy Spirit said, shut up. So, okay. So I sat there, and I was like, he said to me, it makes me feel. I don't have to try to fix his feelings. These are his feelings. He's telling me his truth. What I have to do as his wife is receive it. So it bothered me really bad. So for 2 days, I'm trying to figure out, how do I address this? And I waited. And I heard the Holy Spirit say, but what do I do when your driving makes me feel unsafe? I was like, oh, that's good, God. So we were on the way to Charlotte to see the Grants. Hey, Dr. Grant. To see the Grants, and he was driving, and he swerved, nerves tore up. I looked at him. I said, okay, honey, so what do I do when you're driving, like in that moment, makes me feel unsafe? And he said, oh, by all means tell me, but it's how you tell me. Well, see, had I had the whole fight, we'd have been fighting about something that was never the issue. Because I didn't listen, I didn't wait till the emotion settled, and if I didn't ask I asked a question instead of making a statement. What I could have said was, see, that right there, that's why I talked to you about your driving. Okay, then it would have been a hot mess. But by simply saying, well, let me ask you this, if my words make you uncomfortable, but your actions are making me uncomfortable, you tell me how to resolve this with you and not make you uncomfortable. He said, well, it's not that. Just if I'm driving and you feel like it's sporadic or erratic, just say something. But how you say it?
Right.
Wow. Okay. Learn something. Right. And so just want to remind everybody, those are the types of weeds that if you don't pull them out will come up. Right. So we addressed the problem. I listened. I didn't try to tell him why he shouldn't feel that way. He didn't try to tell me why I shouldn't feel this way. And we were able to come to a conclusion that, one, if I'm feeling uncomfortable, I'm going to lower my energy, lower my voice, say what I need to say. And two, he's saying, okay, if she tells me she's uncomfortable, then I have to address the situation.
Right.
So.
And that's how you get the weeds out.
That's how you get the weeds out.
Just talk it through. It's really not as hard as we think it is, but when our emotions get in it, then that's when it gets hot and heavy and crazy, and we start saying and doing stuff.
Is that a question? Do I see a question? Or is somebody just saying hi? If you have a question on Instagram, on Zoom, drop it in the chat. If you have a question.
If you have a question on Facebook, then
drop it in the chat as well if you like.
Yeah, put it in the chat. You can send it directly to us on Zoom. I don't know how you do that in Facebook. I don't know.
Well, it can't be a private question.
Yeah,
it will have
be
to be
private,
a public question.
But go ahead and put your spouse on blast. Go ahead and blow them up. Don't do it. Don't do it. But if you have a question, or if you're on Zoom and you have a comment, then you can raise your hand and then we can unmute you and take your comment since we have microphones here.
Yep.
All right, let's see what we got here. All right, we're waiting for that to come up. All right. All right, y'all here in the place. So, Rashik, you got a question?
Ethan came, y'all. My darling son came to help us with the microphones. If anybody had a question, I appreciate him taking his Friday night to hang out with the old married people. Hopefully he'll learn something. I always tell my son he's going to be a great husband because he's had the benefit of listening to these 9,000,000 marriage discussions that we have had. So
right. But I would rather him have this information on the front side than to have to go through the court system to figure it out. So.
Absolutely. Not the court. We're not going to court. Not the court system.
That's sure. All right. We got a question. It says, what do you do if the weeds feel like they've become a little jungle? That's an emotional response.
Oh, that's good.
Because
you are looking at the weeds through your emotional eyes.
At through your emotion. It's just too much. And whereas, what does Pastor Rick say? How do you eat an elephant?
One bite at a time.
One bite at a time.
So my person with the jungle, look at all the weeds in your garden. Pick the one that's the most important to you and pray about it. Let God give you a strategy about it and attack it, resolve it. Yep. And even if it doesn't become perfect, it will be better. And so then you attack the next weed.
Right.
But if you're criticizing everything every time it comes, it becomes too much.
It's not going to work.
It's too overwhelming for the other person, and it's too overwhelming for you. So choose to let. So let's say, for instance, he's sloppy. He don't keep the car up. He don't take care of the bills on time.
Why does it got to be he? Could be she.
She
has an attitude.
She got an attitude. Well, that one you'll probably deal with. But she has an attitude.
She leave her drawers in the middle of the floor.
You're doing too much. You're doing too much. You're doing the most. Okay. So what you would do is, if she's leaving her underwear in the middle of the floor, then what you do is you pick them up. Pick them up. You just pick them up, and when she leaves them, you don't keep saying. Just pick them up. Keep going. Pick them up, and at some point in time,
or walk over them.
And if there's a little pile that's created, just move it to the side and keep going.
You cannot invest all of your energy and emotions into things that somebody else needs to resolve. Yes. You got to keep living. Yes. Regardless of what somebody else is doing, and sometimes it's a little stuff like this, but it's probably something else.
Yeah.
But all of this stuff feels like an irritant.
Becomes a jungle because once that big cypress tree is in the middle of the garden, then you start seeing all the little weeds around it. Mm-hmm. Because we haven't addressed whatever the big thing is. So if you start with the thing that's the most important to you, sometimes it'll help you look at, if we can get that thing resolved, we can look at the other things and be like, that ain't really
not
bad.
that big of a deal. Yeah. So, case in point.
I did not leave my drawers in the floor.
No.
Oh, okay. I just want to make sure.
No, but I was cleaning out your car today.
I didn't want to let you have my car. I did not want you to drive my car.
How many husbands out there have wives that they're just not going to wash nor clean out their car? But because of where our relationship is, it's a joke for us now. It's not a point of contention. It's not a weed.
No.
Because what I have figured out over these 22 years, that's something she ain't going to do. And so am I going to wreck my marriage because my wife doesn't want to clean out her car? Or whenever I get it or get in it?
I got in there, it was all vacuumed and shiny. It was so nice.
because I can't let that be a point of contention in our relationship when we got so many other things that we have to deal with. It's some stuff you just gotta get over it. Just go kill.
But
I dug that weed up and got rid of it.
So mostly it was TJ Maxx bags. And my coat. There were things back there
I had injuries on my hands from where I had to go and dig and stuff.
And that change cup, I know that little stuff. That thing is sharp. The change cup is a hot mess. I'm sitting here in full disclosure. I will not see. That's the other thing, y'all. When you wrong, just admit it. Now I have told him this is an area of challenge for me. I'm wrong in this area. I just don't know when or if I will ever change it. And so I need you to work with me on this, and he does. So there we go.
And then you just let it go. It is really not that big of a deal. All right.
Angel is talking junk about me.
No pump gas. Now my wife hates the pump gas. She hates it.
I will kidnap Ethan to keep him having to pump gas. I'll do it, but I don't like it.
I know. I got one that she hates pump gas. So I know whenever I get in it, if it's anywhere near half, then I'm going to put some gas in it.
Thank you, honey, and I appreciate you.
To hook that sister up. All right. Did I miss any questions? Let me see.
Since you should pick them drawers up, who should make up the bed? Okay, so let's talk about making up the bed. That is a personal thing. So I grew up in a house with a mother who had a biology background, and her thing was when you get up in the morning, pull your sheets back so your bed can air out because you don't want all that night sweat in the bed. So I'm not a bed maker upper. So it's not a big deal for me. But if it's your thing, then if you cared, I guess I would make up the bed every day. But I don't think that bothers you. I mean, if it does, you've never said it.
It's an adaptation.
If company is coming, I'll make it up.
Yeah. It's a lot of things I've adapted to because if it's your pet, you pet it. And so there's some things where you just adapt because it's not that important. It is not worth the peace in my house. Y'all have got to stop making everything tragic. There's some things that are not worth the peace in your house.
Howard Martin has a real issue. Howard says, what if she doesn't like your feet anymore? Howard, let me tell you how to fix this. This a good.
She doesn't like his feet?
That's what he says. She doesn't like his feet anymore.
And the Lord made socks.
So no. Howard, go schedule a pedicure for the two of y'all. And then she will enjoy that. You may or may not. You will learn to enjoy it. And that's something y'all can do together, and it fixes the problem. Go ahead, Howard. Go ahead and tell me about the pedicure. Send Chip an inbox and let him know how the pedicure went. Look at Rashik. Rashik has a thumbs up on the pedicure.
So then for one of my birthday presents, I don't need everybody to do it. Just one of y'all. You
gonna go get a pedicure?
If somebody gives me I need to find out which place I need to go because I ain't going anywhere.
Wherever you want to go, baby, we will go. I'm gonna take you over to the Grand Over.
I'm gonna go get a pedicure. Do I need to go get it here or when we go out of town?
We're gonna get it when we go out of town. We're gonna go do that together.
You sure?
Mm-hmm. Yep. That's one thing we're gonna do.
So we're gonna go out of town and I'm gonna get a pedicure.
But your feet are not crusty.
Yeah, my feet aren't crusty. They're just not beautiful.
No, that big toe, that's genetic though. There's nothing you do about that.
Vet, you have a question? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so the question, the statement is she cooks and she washes the dishes, and so she doesn't want to do both. So how do you handle a situation like that? Okay, what'd you say?
To keep the peace.
To keep peace in the house. Okay, all right.
Did you ask him to wash the dish? So did you ask him or did you tell him? Wait a minute, hold it. So the issue is not that.
This not a husband issue. Let me tell you something.
Wait a minute. So this is not a what. This is a how.
Yeah.
So they're not washing the dishes to your standard.
So so it's not that they're not washing the dishes. They're not washing them as well as you think they should wash them. Oh, okay. So what do you define as dirty?
Right. You shouldn't.
Okay, you shouldn't. So what you have to do is you have to do a few tutorials.
Some training classes.
You have to do some more training and say, okay, this is how it's done. Now, don't just do the what, do the why. So what? Want the dishes washed. Why? Because there's a potential for something to be on these dishes that can actually be hazardous to us from a germ standpoint. And we don't want anybody in the house to get sick. Because if you get sick, you are immobilized, it'll cost extra money, time, everything else, could do some damage to your body. So always make sure that you tell them the why behind the what, so that it helps make sense to them. It may not be a great motivator for them to want to do it, but at least now they understand and say, okay, this is what the standard is.
And with kids, send them back. Send them back. When they don't do it right, do it again.
Yep. There is no such thing as someone having an attitude when I'm paying for everything. So now if you paying for it, you can do whatever it is you want to do.
And with Rashik, that's easy. You just say, babe, will you wash the dishes for me, please? And then if he look at you like he don't understand, then later on, when he do like this, you just say, oh, I'm sorry, but I'm tired. I had to wash the dishes.
Don't do
That'll
it.
all get cleared up. I'm kidding. He'll be a dishwashing somebody. Yes.
So so the what and the why. Go back and do the training again and explain and say, this is why we're doing this. As a matter of fact, I'm training you for your future when you get in your house so that you don't have roaches and stuff never going in, so that you'll have, that won't be an issue for you.
Yep.
Absolutely.
All right, we've been here a long time. We can wrap it up. It's 8 o'clock.
Yeah, time is up.
Good. Yeah.
All right, anybody else have any other questions? Check it
Angel and LaQuanda talking junk about me. I don't care.
I keep that car clean. All right, y'all. We love y'all so much. Thank you for jumping on. I hope that this information has helped you as far as your relationships are concerned. I would probably wait. Well, you could do it tonight. It's up to you whether or not you want to share your information about your scale of 1 to 10 with each other. But that's an intimate conversation, and there should be time for you to actually talk about that. It's kind of late in the evening now, so I don't know if you want that to be the last thing before you go to bed.
Right.
Because somebody might not want to give somebody cookies. So we don't want that to happen. We want everybody baking tonight, praise the Lord. But you can have that conversation later on. Can you post to share the questions again? Yes. Yeah. Tiffany, remind me and I'll get them to you. I'll get them to you.
Tiffany, they are also, if you go back in the Facebook group, they're also on the Maranatha page and in the Whispering Wise movement page. So it'll be early on in the video. Yep. We'll definitely send them to you, but if you missed the first part, you can always go back and rewatch. Yep. If you feel like the information here has been valuable and entertaining and value added, please feel free to share it with your friends. Invite them into our Facebook groups.
Like and share.
Wives,
you can be a part of the Whispering Wives movement. Make sure you type that information in so they'll know what to do. And brothers, now just because y'all came to marriage maintenance, we've got I want you to get ready. We've got a podcast just for men that's coming up within the next couple of weeks. And so you hang in there, because we got you. We're going to talk about things men need to talk about.
My wife whispers, you know how y'all always asking me about, so who's going to talk to the men? Who's going to talk to the men? We're about to address that question and that issue. We got you. It's going to be exciting and fun. So make sure you stay tuned for that. All right. So now here's what we got to do. Everybody who is married, after marriage maintenance, we always tell all of the married couples to go home, or if you're already home, to prepare yourselves for cookies tonight. Go get you a shower, praise the Lord, and clean your parts, and then bake cookies with your husband or your wife, praise God, because that's what God gave us, praise the Lord. That's part of the package deal. Isn't the Lord good? Hey, we love y'all, and we'll look forward to our next marriage maintenance. We normally have them quarterly. I had somebody come to me and say, man, you need to do this every month. We'll see as we continue to move forward if we have the time to be able to do it. But definitely quarterly.
Definitely quarterly.
Yeah.
Definitely quarterly. So y'all have a great evening. We love you, and we'll see you when we see you.